We are going to be looking at using WIMBA. WIMBA is a software that lets us meet virtually online at the same time. Every class has it built in slightly differently, but the way you use it is always about the same. So here we go. First of all, you need to find where it is. In some classes, there's actually been a WIMBA button built in. If not, you could either go in through tools or sometimes through communication. There's always a different way to find it, but most courses, when there is a WIMBA, will have a button somewhere on the left-hand nav bar. So we click it, and what you'll get is a list of the various classrooms you can go into. See, in this particular course there are two different classrooms. One is the student presentation room, one is a virtual classroom. I'm going to first show you the virtual classroom, and then for those of you who do have a student presentation room, I'll show you what the differences are. So you click to go in, and this screen is very important. You'll notice there are phone numbers. Now don't copy these down, but for your individual class you will see two phone numbers. One is a 201 number, that's a toll line. Don't call that unless you've got free long distance. If you have free long distance, go for it. It's a stronger line. If you don't, please use the 877 number. 877 is toll free. It won't cost you a penny. And then you'll want to write down the student PIN number. Now, this is if you are going to call in. Not everybody has a headset and a microphone. If you do, you can use those with WIMBA for all your audio. Otherwise, don't worry about it. You can use the phone. So when you go in, write down these numbers, the phone numbers, the student PIN ID to log in, and the next thing you'll need to do is run the wizard. This is very important. The wizard will go through several steps to make sure that WIMBA will work with your computer. This usually doesn't take anything more than 8 minutes. If there's a problem, it will help you diagnose what it is. So here we go. Start. This thing is actually pretty elegant. Okay, the first thing it's going to check is that your computer does allow pop-up windows. If it doesn't, then you'll be told to please go back to your browser and allow pop-up windows. Next, it's testing Java. Now, this gets a little geeky, but stay with me. Java is a software that is embedded in most web browsers, be that Google Chrome, be that Internet Explorer, be that Firefox, be it Safari. It needs to be working properly for WIMBA to work on your computer. If you do get a Java error, you have two easy things to try. One is to directly download the Java applet, which there was a link on the previous page. The second is to either upgrade your browser, maybe you're working off an old version of Internet Explorer, or to go ahead and try Firefox, which is a free browser, again free. For some reason, on some computers, again, who knows, Java tends to work better with Firefox than it does with Internet Explorer. Again, only if you're having problems. My Java's fine, I get to go to the next one. Okay, now it's checking to make sure that my text chat will work. Inside the classroom, there's a text area. Okay, now it's checking for audio, and I need to wait. This toolbar will load.
Congratulations. If you can hear this message, audio playback is working properly on your computer. Please click Next to continue.
Okay, you'll see this toolbar again. So the audio playback loaded. Now it's going to make sure that I'm able to speak. So I get that toolbar again. Those three dings are very important. When you do log in, it isn't loaded until you hear those three dings. Once you hear them, then you should be able to click the talk button. Notice when I click the talk button, it turns yellow. Yellow means that I am hot. People can hear me. I'll show you how this works. I click on it. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, you notice as I was speaking, it's giving me playback right now because I'm double recording this. So when I speak, 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
You notice the bars over here move up and down. The bar closest to the person is my own personal volume. So when I speak, 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
You saw that the bars next to the person went up and down. That means I'm being heard. The bars on the other side, that's the sound of the audio coming in to you. Again, right now we're kind of double dipping because I'm recording this as I do it. But if you're trying to talk, 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
And it's turning yellow, but the bars aren't going up and down, you need to check your volume. So let's move on. So I'm finished. I can click finished. And now I'm ready to go into the classroom. The entrance is right here, just above where it says the name of the classroom, enter room. Ah, the three dings. That tells me that everything is loaded and now I can work in this room. So what do I see? Up here we have the content area. Welcome to Virtual Classroom. I can push content so your professor can show slides or websites or whatever inside this window. Down here we have that bar we were seeing a little earlier when we went through the wizard. Notice the first thing I see is the strength of my internet connection. It's green, so I'm in good shape. Next to that is the talk button. When I want to be heard, I press it. It turns yellow. Now we're not getting the playback this time around, which is a really nice thing. It's bad enough to hear my voice once, let alone twice. And you notice as I speak, the bars next to the little person go up and down. That means that people can hear me. Next to that right there is the sound button. Now, right now, no one else is speaking to me. When someone else is speaking, these bars will go up and down. Next to those icons, I have the camera. If you have a webcam hooked up to your computer and you want to show video, you can click on that, and it won't show anything until you open the sleeping eye. Start transmitting video. I click on that, and thank goodness I'm in shadow. Whoever is speaking is the video that gets pushed out to everyone else in the room. So let's close that because that's just painful. Next to that is the telephone. Remember those phone numbers that were on the earlier page for you to copy? If you forgot to copy them down, don't worry. Those phone numbers are here again. Or let's say you get into the class and for whatever reason your headset stops working. Click on the blue telephone and you can go ahead and call in. If you do call in, please don't use a cell phone. Try and use a landline. Sometimes cell phones cause an echo. And please don't use speakerphone. That can cause an echo as well. Down here is our live text area. All you have to do is type into the little bar and hit return, and you see, obviously my very intelligent typing here, whatever as communication is going on. So if you're in a classroom and you forgot something or you didn't hear that last thing, one thing you can always do is say please repeat and hit return. You don't have to learn anything. Whoever is in the classroom, their names will show up here, so you can send a private message. I lost my book. Can I use yours? That message would only go to the one person. See how that works? So you would get the message back, so-and-so in particular says to you. So that's an I am feature. Okay? Then to the right of that, we have the list of people. Obviously, it's a little lonely in here right now, but it is what it is. So you'll see all your classmates listed here with you. One more thing I do want to show you before we go on to a presentation modality. You've got some little icons down here that really can be very helpful. First of all, I've got the little check mark. Notice when I click that, it shows up over here. So if the professor asks a question, if you think that we should talk about Chapter 5, please click the green check mark. Boom, there it is. Conversely, next to that, you have the X. It's a little red X. Notice it shows up here as well. So if you want to read Chapter 5, if you want to talk about Chapter 5, please click the green check mark. If you'd rather talk about Chapter 6, please click the X. Okay? Easy breezy. Next to that, you have a little hand. I have a question. Okay? And your professor will get a little ding to know that someone has raised their hand to ask a question. If there are a bunch of people in the room, these will be numbered so that your professor can see in what order. So let's say in the middle of a chat and the professor says, please let me finish discussing this or explaining this before we open it up for discussion. You can ask your question and your hand will be shown in the number that it was asked. So if you were first, second, third, fourth, don't worry, you're not going to be lost in the mix. The last thing I'm going to show you are the emoticons. Notice it shows up here, and then over in the text, there's a little explanation. So the smiley face is I am laughing, I approve, I disapprove. The two I specifically want to point out are if, let's say you're in a class, and the phone rings, or I have a 3-year-old boy, and sometimes he runs directly into walls and I've got to deal with a bloody nose. What do? I don't want to disrupt the class. I can click the bird. And what the bird means is I have stepped away for a moment. So I don't have to interrupt the class. I can still get that information out there. When you come back, you need to press the icon just to the left of that, which is the clear. I have returned. Got it? The bird means I have flown the coop. And the little clear circle means that I have returned. That's pretty much it. I know when you first step in it feels kind of weird and people tend to talk over each other for the first couple of minutes, but once you get a flow going, it's really wonderful to be able to hear your peers' voices and be able to speak with your professor directly. A lot of people do online office hours. This is a wonderful tool to use. So what I'm going to do now is switch over into another classroom for those of you who sometimes do online presentations. Let me show you how that works. I'm now leaving a typical virtual classroom and going into a student presentation room. You already know this stuff. It's all the same. There's your phone numbers. There's your wizard. Here's how we enter the room. So now we're in a student presentation room. What is different here? It's basically the same. Here's where it's different. You will be asked, do you want to archive this presentation? Notice up here you've got an archive button, and right now it's stopped. When you are giving a presentation to a peer, you want to archive it so that your professor has a record. Please, this is very, very, very important. So to start an archive, you can either simply click this yes button, or you can actually click on the archive button. Let me show you how that works. I'll go ahead and click on the button up here so that you get used to it in case this isn't activated. Do I want to archive this? Yes, I do.
Archiving started.
That's very important. When you click the button, it will take a minute or two for the archive to officially begin. So go ahead and wait for the audio. Archiving has now started before you start giving your presentation. Now, how are you going to give your presentation? Well, there's a couple of different ways. The absolute easiest would be, let's say you're presenting a PowerPoint, you could have it posted somewhere like on a wiki for everyone to download, or you could email it to your partner and then simply use this as your audio. Please open the PowerPoint. I'm now going to talk about slide number 1. Or you could upload your PowerPoint directly into this content frame. It's very easy. See over here, you've got the list of folders for the room. To the far right of that, you have a little upload icon. When I click that, I get this pop-up window. PowerPoint is the only thing I can upload. So if I were to browse, I would select whatever my PowerPoint was. Now, where do I want to display this? Honestly, you could display it in the e-board. You could do it in a new window, but to make your life the easiest, I would pick the content frame. Remember, the content frame is this big window we're looking at. This resizes everything and makes it easy for you. So I upload my PowerPoint, import my PowerPoint. It was uploaded. So now let's look. There it is. It's built a new folder for it, and I can simply click on it, and they show up in the content frame. I can either jump, 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 or I can use these little orange windows to move from slide to slide. When you are done presenting, please don't forget to stop archiving. Otherwise, it's just going to keep recording, and maybe you and your friend have finished presenting and you just sit and talk. All of that will be recorded for the professor. Please don't forget, you have to start and then you have to stop. How do you stop? You simply click on the archiving button again, and it will stop recording.